Shout out, the Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have composure to get it back together. Welcome to another episode of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast, where we highlight the journey of entrepreneurs, creatives, and business people alike to showcase that every light and dark moment create a beautiful piece of art. I am your host, Luis Guzman. We are proudly brought to you by Hanobi.com, Hanobi Research. And my guest today is the definition of entrepreneurial spirit, a dot connector, and a life breather into the culture of music, influence, and now fashion. He is the owner of Masterpiece, a golf-inspired clothing line that unconsciously was birthed in his mind on Dyker Beach in Brooklyn. It transcends the green and extends to a lifestyle, not just a golf brand. Its ethos is built on creating a masterpiece, an art of the perfect shot, while enjoying around with those who matter the most. In other words, iron sharpens iron. Literally, he has taken the element of collaboration and has poured it into his brand. When he's not playing golf, he's with DJ Khaled or Anthony Anderson, he's masterminding some of your favorite artist projects such as Stove Got Cooks, Cleotrapa, helping break talents such as MGK and Corday, amongst many others. But the most important title he has is husband and father. He is a man that calls plays on principle and moves at his time because he has the vision and the foresight to see the greatness in people as well as his product. He's the quiet guy in the corner, texting away and putting the plays in motion, quietly putting in the work, humble, gifted, and proud. From the studio to the boardroom to the back nine and beyond, I think it's fair to say, even though he's a veteran at this, he's just getting started. It's my pleasure to have in studio today Stealth Music Group's own and mastermind of all things that shape the culture, Byron Kirkland. Welcome to the pod.
Oh man, thanks for having me. That was an amazing intro right there. I might have have you come out to everything. Every time I go out, I might need you next to me.
We'll make it happen, man. Listen,
like
I told you before we started filming, man. The one thing that I can never waste is someone's time.
Right.
It's the biggest asset we have. So, you coming on the platform, even though, we've kicked it in the past.
Absolutely.
I still am very appreciative and thankful of your time. So, I want to make sure that you're presented in the light that matters the most, which is the true light of what you do.
I appreciate you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see how far you've taken this podcast. This is amazing. Just from it being an idea to execution and consistently doing it. Most people start something and don't finish.
They don't finish. Yeah.
And I love the fact that even though you started this, you feel like you haven't finished doing the work. You're still constantly improving, your idea, and it's amazing.
Thank you, man. Honestly, that means a lot coming from you with the track record you have and the rooms that you've been in and the places and people that you touched. So for you to say that to me, I'm thankful and humble for those words.
No, absolutely. No, it's
my
nice.
brother,
It's well earned.
Thank you, man. And who knows what the future's going to bring. That's the exciting part, man. I'm always like, let's go. What's next? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can never, I don't know if you deal with this as an entrepreneur and as a business person, but it's hard to get stuck in the element of celebration. So when I hit a plateau, I'll celebrate for 2 seconds. And then I'm like, who's next?
Exactly.
I got to call this, got to make this email, got to bust this move. That's probably something you live by, right?
Yeah, 100%. My whole career has been always you got to acknowledge the moments, right? But you got to chase the next one, right? Because people only remember you from your last hit, right? And the days go on, and sometimes you have that hit and you hold on to that moment, and you're still living in the past. A lot of things will move forward, right? So you have to consistently sort of be in the present, but keep your eyes on the future.
Absolutely, because complacency is death.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing moving in complacency.
No.
You're on the treadmill.
No.
You know what I mean? And you might think you're going somewhere, but you're in the same place.
No, you're just losing weight, just getting skinny.
That's it. And not seeing nothing, not experiencing anything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I always tell people this. I always ask people this when they come on the podcast. I'm going to ask you the same question. Who is Byron Kirkland?
Byron Kirkland is a God-fearing child of Sharon Ripley. Proud son. My mother, watch her sacrifice, things she's done for me. I owe it to her sacrifice and wanted for me to have the best life possible. That what she's done for me is what I want to. What I want to do and what I'm doing for my daughter. Our challenge as parents is to take our next generation further than the last.
Yes.
And provide opportunities that we didn't have. And so, you know, I'm a proud son of Sharon Kirkland, proud husband of Donna Kirkland, proud father of Brianna Kirkland, right?
Love, man.
Yeah.
A lot of love in those sentences.
Yeah, a lot of love. Yeah, it's all about family.
Absolutely, man. And you said, you know, as far as your mother, I mean, did you have your father in your life at all?
Yeah, my father was in my life. My parents separated early.
Okay.
I divorced early. And then I was fortunate enough to have my mother remarried.
Oh, okay.
And my stepfather was involved in my life. And both of my fathers helped shape me, but my mom raised me.
Your mom raised you, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
She taught you work ethic. She taught you, you know, I mean, the mind that you have, the visionary. Is she a visionary? Is she like an entrepreneurial spirit as well?
It's funny. My mom was in education.
Okay, dope. Teaching. There you
right?
go.
And so she poured into me, students. She taught at a school called IS 271, which is in the heart of Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, stand up.
Yeah, and she taught kids that, you know, that were from Brownsville. And so we lived downtown Brooklyn. And so the funny thing is that the court system was right in the neighborhood. So a lot of times we see the jail bus and you would hear, Miss Kirkland. And unfortunately, those would be some of her kids on the bus. My mom was tough. And she really poured love into those kids that she taught. Went on to become a staff developer. So I would say what I learned from my mother is that she was never complacent. She always took what she had and figured out a way to improve upon what she was doing. So while I watched her get her master's, actually 2 masters.
Wow, God bless. Nice.
Then she went from being a school teacher to a staff developer to then running schools and helping provide information for the schools and working for the UFT. Then while I was in college, she went and she got saved, went to divinity school, became an ordained minister.
God bless.
So my mom was a force to be reckoned with, and I learned a lot from watching her sort of push forward through challenging circumstances.
Dude, it's inspiring to hear that because, again, I know you, but I didn't know that. So now I can kind of understand the framework of who you are now. Like, I see it. It's like, okay, we were just talking about complacency is death, and your mother destroyed that.
Oh,
she went next level, times 10.
No question.
You know what I mean?
It was me, my mom, my sister in a 2-bedroom apartment. You know, my sister and I had bunk beds.
Wow.
And I'd say it's funny, you know, being a parent and understanding what it is in terms of raising a child. My mom was hands-on, right? So she knew the difference between both of her children. So you don't parent both kids the same. So my sister had the luxury of being able to choose the school she wanted to go to. Where mine was a little bit more as directed.
I see. And why was that? Why was it as directed?
I think that I was social, so I was always good in school. I was great at taking tests. I was great. You know, I was a great student. But socially, I was a little all over the place,
as we all were.
And I think my mom saw certain things. So being in the schools, you see trends, you see interactions with kids. So my mom was always in tune. So you know, whether it be from back in the day when we were wearing fat laces, and I had my shoelaces untied. So like, tie your shoes, you know, and she would make sure my friends had their shoes tied too, right? You're not going to walk around here looking like looking crazy. And of course, you tie them up, you get outside, you untie them. You know,
that's how we did it.
You know, don't go into Manhattan on the bikes. All right, we're in Manhattan on the bikes, you know. But she saw things in terms of me just being social, hanging around different people, and she was making sure that I didn't get caught up in the wrong crowd. And you know, she did the best she could.
I mean, she did amazing.
Yeah, she did amazing because I made some bad decisions, but but just knowing that, I guess the schools meant a lot in terms of like, you know, going up in New York City, you have a book of like almost like an encyclopedia. I guess that's dating because there's no encyclopedias now. You have a large book.
You have a large book.
You have a large book with words in it, where you could pick from over 300 high schools. And if you don't know the education system, you can easily pick the wrong school, right? You can be pursuing your dream in the arts, but you pick the wrong school, you know, you may have a different outcome. So I ultimately wound up going to the schools that she chose that helped dictate my trajectory as a student, as a man, and to who I am today. So at the time, I wasn't happy, but today I can say that everything was, she was saying God's plan, but she knew the plan for me. And my sister, on the opposite side, chose whatever school she wanted to go to. Oh, you want to go here? You want to go here?
I see what you mean now, yeah.
But we both worked out well, so she knew what she was doing, right?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing, because I think nowadays it's a little different. Like, parents want to be friends. They don't want to be parents. Back then, it was like, no, you're going here, you're doing this. But now in retrospect, you see what your mom did, and she held you accountable to give you that discipline.
Absolutely.
To give you that reinforcement.
Yeah, the number one quote is, I'm your mother, I'm not your friend.
1,000%.
That was it. And so, and she laughs because, again, we are softer on our kids than...
We are, I know.
And also her sort of being an educator and being in the classroom, like she would say, I got kids mad at me all day. I didn't even know you were mad. Nor did I care.
Exactly, yeah.
She's trying to, raise a young man in Brooklyn and see, a bright future for me, because it's easy to take the wrong turn.
Oh, yeah.
And, the same thing growing up downtown, you'd see, there's you see Manhattan and the high rises, but then you see the courthouse, and you see a lot of us being bused into corrections going to Rikers Island. So she knew to help create a plan for me, so I didn't end up on that bus going to Rikers.
It's the way you're articulating that. I kind of see like a fork in the road, and young Byron like in the middle, like without moms like really holding you down from an authoritative standpoint, you could have went left.
Oh, easy.
So the fact that she kind of kept you grounded, even though in retrospect, right now you look at it like, oh, thank God, that was a blessing. But back then you were just like, oh man, come on. Yeah. But it was needed. It's necessary, especially in the, I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Right.
Newark, New Jersey. It's all urban. I seen little baggies on the floor. It was crack. I didn't know that. I was just playing with my baseball, my bat, my friends, playing hide and seek, manhunt. But you see this, and you could easily get swept up in it if you don't have the right authority that's guiding you.
Right.
And I think your mother did an amazing job of guiding you. Because
shout out to Mom. Mom, love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, God is the greatest.
No, God is always the greatest, man. And seeing that labor of love that she gave to you and bestowed onto you and your sister, and you kind of parlayed that into the man you are today, that's got to be such a proud moment for her to see you now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, y'all gotta have those ugly cry moments. Like, I know I've had them. Like, my mom will look at me sometimes and just stare at me and be like, "Wow!" Like, and my dad too. Like, I'm proud of you.
Right.
Like, it's like that means more than any amount of money you can make.
Yeah.
It's just making your parents proud.
Yes.
And you becoming a product of all the hard work and sacrifice they had to go through to provide that life for you.
Absolutely. And you couldn't say any better. Like, she lives in Maryland now, and my sister has a bunch of kids, and I have my daughter who's graduating from college.
Congratulations.
And for her to be able to see, the next generation, the opportunity providing for them, she's definitely, her heart is full.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, that's got to make you feel so whole, man. Yeah, because it's like, you're number one, I mean, as a man of faith, you're living in your purpose. You're providing a sense of awareness to your daughter as to what it looks like to be a husband, but what it looks like to be a hardworking person.
Right.
And then it's like a relay race. You're passing the baton. Like, okay, I ran. Now it's your turn to run. Let's see where you take it.
Absolutely.
But you've given her the game that was bestowed upon you by your mother. So it's like, you normally in, inner city households, like the things that are transferred from generation to generation are like, traumatic, toxic, alcoholism, abusing drugs, selling drugs, getting locked up.
Right.
But your mother, man, what a strong Black woman, man, to like take a negative, turn it into a positive, and seeing this grow with you and now with your daughter coming. It's just like, that's got to make you feel amazing.
Yeah,
bro.
it's a full circle moment for her.
Full circle.
Because my daughter goes to the same school my mother graduated from, college-wise. Yeah, and so it wasn't in the cards. I didn't know she was gonna go to that school, but it's funny how things come full circle.
It is kind of wild.
So she goes to
right?
my mother's alma mater, and it's also down the block from the high school that I met her mother at.
Dude.
So it's God is awesome. He makes no mistakes.
God is nudging you like, hey, B.
Yeah.
So see, I work some magic too. Look at this.
Absolutely.
That's a blessing, man. And then so you went to college. What school did you go to?
Went to Morehouse College in Atlanta.
Morehouse College. Let's go.
Yeah, and again, another school that I'm so happy I went to, an amazing institution, but I thought I was going to Hampton. And my mom knew like,
everybody wanted to go to
I want to be in Virginia. She's like, no, you might need to go further down south, away from your friends. And so Atlanta was an amazing place.
Nice.
When I went to college.
God. I mean, just at that time. I mean, I'm 42. How old are you?
I just turned 50.
God bless you, bro. You don't look it. I thought you was my age.
Yeah,
damn.
Nah, drinking water and staying sucker free.
Drinking water and playing golf.
Sucker free and playing golf. Yeah. Golf helps you stay sucker free for the most part.
For real. So we're talking mid 90s.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like, I can just think of the music scene, Biggie Smalls and
so watching So Def, Bad Boy, Freaknik.
All that.
I watched the rise and fall of Freaknik. Watching Atlanta become the Atlanta, that was like the epicenter of culture.
You were in the smack dab middle.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Dungeon Family, Outkast.
Oh my God, that's
Too
right.
Short, Eric Sermon, all these guys in Atlanta. Yeah, the club scene was taking off. It was an amazing time.
I can imagine, man. I mean, I'm 8 years your senior, so back then I was still like riding the school bus, listening to Reasonable Doubt. So hearing that from you now in this perspective, how was that for you, a kid from Brooklyn, going to Atlanta and being soaked in the culture of hip hop, but also everything else that the town has to offer? How did you take that in, and what did you get from it?
It's a good question. I think it was interesting because, we were all sort of chasing that space. We watched hip hop grow. We were born into hip hop, right? My first records were like Sugar Hill Gang and Curtis Blow, Sesame Street Fever with Grove on the cover, and the Jackson 5 greatest hits. And then taping music on the radio. So when I went to college, I had already had an internship at a label, and so I was sort of like in the mix.
You was busting moves already.
Yeah, so I had an internship at Arista.
Okay.
And then I had my my Debo relationship with Uptown. I became an intern at Uptown through a good friend of mine, Chuck Bone, and the gas station and doing promotions. And so I was able to leverage being a college rep and working those records with DJs and going to different retail locations, and then knowing the artist promo schedule, because back then artists did promo. And so they'd be in certain markets working radio. And so I would leverage those relationships to connect with promoters in Atlanta to do shows. And so I was in the mix in college.
You was grassrooting it.
Yeah, grassroots. Yeah. I had demo tapes early. And so my dorm room was kind of like the place to hear new music first. And so it was a lot of fun.
That's nostalgia to me,
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, no, because a lot of kids nowadays, they don't understand how different it was back then, where you had to touch the streets.
And these artists who didn't have money back then, it's when it was still fun. We watched the era of sort of money coming into hip hop, right? So when guys were making a few $1,000s a show to, when the Bad Boy era hit, that's when the money came into the game.
That's when it blew up.
Sure.
Yeah, like the midnight after Benjamins and all that. That's when it got a little crazy. But you being at the beginning, not the beginning of it, but like I would say the naturalization. You're in the golden era, right? Mid '90s. You're talking about Gangstar.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about Bad Boy. You're talking about Wu-Tang. Oh my God, Mobb Deep. Like that to your
Far
point,
Side.
Far Side.
Because LA had a scene.
Brand Nubian. Like there was just so much going on.
Outkast, Goody Mob.
Yes. To your point, the Dungeon Family. Like it was really at that point with Outkast and that era, it was just like an explosion in Atlanta. But then obviously you had New York, but then you had also Death Row. So there was just so much going on.
Oh, absolutely.
And we were just like entrenched in it. Just like I remember when I first heard, my first hip hop record for the first time, and I was like, "What is that?"
What's your first hip hop record you heard?
I'm young, man, so don't make fun of me.
It's all good.
I mean, the first one I fell in love with, I'm gonna say, is Onyx.
Okay.
Back the fuck up.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that tape of a bunch of bald-headed guys with Timberland boots.
Throw your guns in the air.
Yeah, throw your guns in the air. Oh my God. But seeing that Timberland boot, I was begging my mother. This when Timbs were $90. They're like $250 now. $90, and my mom was like, "You crazy? I am not buying you $90." But it was because I wanted to wear a baldy, and I wanted to have Timberlands, and I wanted to be like Sticky Fingers.
Right.
So that was like that. Like that was what piqued my interest.
Right.
And then I started getting into everything else that came through life, and I just became a part of it. It was like part of my DNA, and it's something that today. I mean, I don't know what the kids growing up, but when we grew up in that time, it was It was like in your fiber, like in your DNA fiber of what you did, the way you dressed, the way you talked, the way you moved around, like your manual, everything was just hip hop,
right?
You know, but we were in the streets with it.
And it was regional because before Instagram and social media, so you know you didn't know what you know. I say for me being in Atlanta at the time, it was awesome because you could tell by somebody's jeans. You could tell if someone had jeans that were flared out at the time.
Yeah.
With a Madness t-shirt, you were from DC. If you had Guess jeans and pen pockets and you know your jeans tucked in your boots, you were from New York.
You're from New York. Yep.
If you had feelers and you know certain outfits on, you were from Atlanta. You could tell by you know
stack houses.
Yeah, you could tell just how people dressed. And so now we live in a different world where everybody sees everything at the same time. So everybody kind of looks the same. But then it was truly regional. Like hip hop was regional, sounds were regional. You could that's when, you know, people say you sound like a New York artist because all you saw was in front of you. Now you have sort of a world exposure. So culture's a little different now, but yeah, it was definitely
totally
regional
agree.
at that point.
It's definitely back then there was a unique style to no one sounded like Nas.
Right.
No one sounded like Jay. No one sounded like Havoc. No one sounded like Pun. No one sounded like Cameron. And now I can I sound like the old guy in the room, but I can put on like the newest songs and they all kind of sound the same for me. There's some that stick out like Little Baby, you know, but for the most part, it's like back then it was so unique, you know. But again, it's part of the growth of the culture, you know. Like you kind of need that to happen. I mean, hip hop is the #1 genre now,
right?
You know, I mean, but it almost, I don't want to say the word commercialized, but I guess it has to happen, right? It has to get to a point where it becomes commercialized, right? But
yeah, I mean, you want to commercialize was funny back then. Say in the '90s, it was almost going for radio. Felt like you were selling out, right? And you know, ultimately, you want to build the business. So you know, I think it's you know the revolution in culture should be monetized. It has to be protected.
Has to be protected,
right? But I think you know it's interesting to see like you know people right now you know want to make records that work for a certain format. I mean, radio's is still important. You know, streaming is important. Getting on playlists is important. And so people want to make records that sort of fit within a certain sound in order to fit in, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before it was more disruptive, right? You wanted to kind of like not fit in. You wanted to sort of break out and be your own. And so with that, I think we'll see a culture shift. I think that there's some folks who are trying to create and do their own thing. I think things are becoming monotonous to some degree. And I think you'll start seeing culture break through by doing something unique because it has to. You know, it's nothing stays the same forever, ever. We're kind of in a stagnant space right now in terms of outlets.
Yeah.
And so out of this stagnation, I think we'll start finding some innovation coming soon. So
I pray so, man, because I mean, the last innovation I saw that was kind of dope was Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, doing the $100 mixtape.
Right.
And I thought that was so dope. I'm like, yo, he's really like, I'm not worth $10.
Right.
I'm worth $100. So if you're a real fan, I can go direct to consumer. I'll sell $100 a CD. You get a shirt, whatever the case is. But even if I sell 1,000, you know, albums or whatever, at 100 a pop, you know, without having the label involved.
Right.
That to me was like distortion. That was disruptive.
Right.
That was disruptive. And, you know, he put LA on his back after, and everybody was kind of not following the same format, but now you see a lot more direct to consumer and not really dependent on the label so much because labels are looking for artists that already have 1 million followers.
Right.
And they want to jump in and add monetary value to get a piece of the profit.
Yeah. Which
kind of like dilutes what the true hip hop essence was, which is, you know, we got it from the mud. We were created by A&Rs, right? We were curated by A&Rs, but now it's like the label just wants you packaged already, and then they'll throw a little bread behind you,
right? And
then after one song, you're done,
right?
Or whatever. It's like it's not memorable anymore,
right?
You know, I
think it's tough on both sides. I see it. You know, I'm definitely an artist first executive. But I also see the challenge with labels and what happens if an artist gets, you know, a lot of times they're signing artists with success already. And so you may have a hit record, but you need multiple records to come, right? And that's where the development process should begin. And sometimes talent is unwilling to take outside influence when it comes to be developed.
I understand that.
And then sometimes there's unqualified people who are trying to get involved on the development side, right? So I think it's about having artists who are willing to listen and take risks, and then having experienced executives in place who can help guide the artists. And, hopefully there'll be a cleansing of, executives who sort of got in place and don't do the work. And hopefully there's going to be a system where they're looking for actual talent, not just chasing numbers. 'Cause I think that you need talented executives and talented artists in order for this thing to work. So
it's such a convoluted thing, though, right? Like today, because it's just so like, God, I heard Jay-Z say it the best when they were filming the Black Album documentary. He said the hardest thing to do is to get everybody focused at the same time,
right?
To attack the same goal to be successful,
right?
That's as a team, it's hard to do that,
and you need teams. And I think part of the narrative that's developed now is again, artists first, but artists have to remember that they represent a business, and their small crew that helped them get to that point should be a part of that business, and they should be treating it as such. And it's a team effort in order to win. And so you may have that anomaly artist who can do it all themselves, but most artists I've seen that are successful have had people plug in to help develop and create opportunities for the talent. And so hopefully the ecosystem sort of fixes itself. I mean, it still exists in certain regards. I think they are artists signed to majors who do amazing. Like Doechii is amazing.
Oh my God, what a breath of fresh air! And TDE,
right? And she has her ideas. TDE has their ideas, and you can see that that it's working, right?
Yes.
And so
it's a happy marriage.
Yeah, it's about just finding the systems and that sort of work together. And when you have that and you have talent, I think that there's an opportunity for some amazing things to happen. So I don't kill labels. I don't kill artists. I think it's just about finding the right pairing for it to work.
It's got to be the right collaboration.
Absolutely.
I want to get back to the college, but I have one quick question because it just hit me. In your opinion, is the classic album dead today? Is it impossible to make a classic album?
No, but I think there's so many opinions, so it does make a challenge. There's a lot of expertise, or a lot of opinions with no expertise that happen right now. So
this is so true. Everybody got a microphone and a podcast,
right? So it doesn't make a challenge. But I think classic albums are definitely still achievable.
Possible. You think? By a new artist?
By a new artist, absolutely,
wow.
Absolutely. I don't think it's. I got faith in creators. I think there's definitely magical work. The problem is that I'd say the challenge is, I guess, is that, you can't make a record for everyone, right?
Yes.
And so I think that, having an artist create something that hits the critical mass is a challenge, right? Because everything is so fragmented.
Exactly.
But I think classics still exists, yeah.
I mean, I'm biased because, I listen to older stuff, but the last one I heard that was close to a classic was the new Clips album.
That was fire. That album was fire. Yeah.
Like I can go to it, like that came out 3-4 months ago. I can go to it today and still be like, damn.
Right. The challenge is now is that nobody goes back to anything. So you could have the best album, and then 2 weeks
it's done, and we're on to the next one.
Right.
It's recyclable music.
Right.
It's microwave music.
Yeah. As much as we hate to be programmed, programming is necessary. Right. So people hate radio because it's programmed, but you still, in order to build hit records, you got to hear it multiple times. And we're at a time right now where there's no like 106 in Park, or there's no Countdown, or there's
Basement.
There's nothing to keep everybody centralized. So everything is so fragmented. So what pops up in your algorithm is totally different than what pops up in mine. It pops up in mine. But so it makes it hard to like create a hit record. A lot of times hit records or classic albums in some regards are created, but sometimes the art is the art. But because you may have not, it's not been. You haven't discovered it yet, right? The art of discovery is challenging now to me.
Yes, I agree.
So, or before the DJ was a trusted source to first starts with your friend. Starts underground, right? You had underground radio. They play a certain record, and then you hear it, on Hot 97, right? But then bloggers became that. But then it gets muddy because people find ways to sort of influence bloggers to.
Payola,
opinions,
whatever,
right?
Yeah. Two Dope Boys, you heard that new, I remember all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, World Star was like was broke a whole lot of artists. You know, it's just there is no instrument to really, you know, to say if you're here, the critical mass can hear you. You know, if you're on this platform, the critical mass can hear it, react to it, and then it turns into streams. Like the problem is there's very few platforms that really provide an opportunity for artists to hit the broader reach of people. And so, but the artist has to do everything now. So if you want to work now, you got to really work.
You got to really.
It's almost like you know what it was, I guess, in the 60s and 70s. You had to get on it. You had to get on the chitlin circuit and
go every town,
perform and touch the people.
Yep.
So I think talent in teams that do that will win. That's always it's a formula that always works. It's a matter of who has the resources to do so and who has the work ethic to make it work.
Well said, man. And you know, you're saying all this, right? And as you're telling me this, I'm thinking about the things you've done already in the past with the brain that you have for marketing and for seeing talent in an artist. And I know we were talking about you going to school and college. Tell me how you parlayed that into, you know, working with people like MGK, Corday, working with Sean John, working with Academics Brand. Like, give me that time capsule from leaving college to like Byron being in the real world, really touching the culture.
Man, it's a journey, right? So
I'm interested to hear it because I never knew all this.
Yeah. So when I finished college, again, I interned for Arista. But you know, I was doing parties. I was affiliated with folks doing parties, and I came back to New York. And I thought I'd have a job at Arista when I graduated, not realizing that they hired someone else, right?
Oh man, okay.
Because they thought that I was no longer interested in the job because I was doing so well in Atlanta.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So that was a reality shock, and then I had to get a job at some point. So I had some jobs. I worked in sales, I worked in pharmaceuticals, but I was still around the music mix. So you know, the party scene in New York was still rocking.
Yes.
One of my mentors, Chuck Bone, was doing, you know, some of the top events in New York. He was also at Motown. So after work, I'd run over to Motown or run over to the different events, try to stay in the loop. Ultimately, my first gig, I worked for a marketing company that called KBA.
KBA?
Again, my friend June Hill, who's my man as an intern, who sort of brought me to the Uptown family. He had Coca-Cola as an account, so we worked at Coca-Cola. We had Coke trucks all through Brooklyn with systems, and we're doing a lot of community building around the brand. Then I wound up working for a company called Vanguard Media, which had a bunch of different magazines. I'm skipping around. I am skipping some places that I worked at that were important.
Don't need to shine. That was
you know, I worked for Vanguard Media, and they had a number of magazines. Honey Magazine, Heart and Soul.
Oh, Honey, okay.
They also had a music property and Impact. And so when I sort of consulted there at first, and then I was able to sort of help produce Impact Super Summit. And that was like my first taste, but I was like in the mix of music in terms of working with talent and athletes that wanted to be in music. You know, you had Mayweather, who was starting a label at the time, and Roy Jones had a label at the time, so we were doing showcases. We sort of took over Disney World, Paradise Island. That was pretty dope. So we did a music conference at Disney World.
That's wild.
And my man Gary Lewis, shout out to him, and Len Burnett and Keith Clinscales, the executives over at Vanguard. But Gary Lewis sort of was the head of marketing, and he was able to sort of have the conversation with Disney. I don't think Disney knew what was in store because we had Uncle Luke.
Oh my God!
And Kyle, My Neck and My Back, and we had some interesting talent performing at Disney World. That
they would have got
didn't
canceled today.
Oh, it'd be over today.
It'd be over. Oh man!
That led to that was like my foray into music in the way that I wanted to sort of find my way into it. But I ultimately started in the space through fashion. So I got a job at Sean John. It was my first job in the mix. Gotcha. But I've been around a lot of great stuff over time, and working in fashion at the time. You know, there was a lot of fashion, music were all sort of intermingled.
Interwoven. Yeah,
and it's always
too.
Yeah.
So
working for Sean John, we did some monumental campaigns there. And I work with talent in the sense of I would use the marketing budget to sort of, to sign artists as ambassadors to Sean John, and I would like support videos or support tours through the deals that we would do with them. So we were sort of music adjacent. Went to academics, did the same thing there. Did some really cool co-brand opportunities with HBO and The Wire.
Oh wow, okay.
I remember when 106 and Park, when they hired their first new talent, it was my man. It was my man Terrence J and Roxy when they first started.
This was after Free and AJ.
Yeah, they covered my first shoot with The Wire, so that was dope. The first day in the job, TJ and mixing with Marlo and all the guys. Jamie Hector, I don't want to call them by their characters, but all the guys from The Wire who were moving and shaking in that season, that was sort of monumental. And again, I was around talent. I supported like Smack DVD, and I supported Cocaine City DVDs. That's how I got my relationship with French at the time. And I wanted going back to Sean John. And I guess on my second stint at Sean John is when MGK came across my radar through a mutual friend. And I decided to sort of jump out of fashion and into music, because fashion started to experience the same sort of troubles that music did in terms of distribution.
Right.
And meeting MGK and the team, I was very intrigued about the opportunity. And I had a lot of relationships just from, being in marketing and creating opportunities for talent and dealing with corporations. And I wanted to leverage those opportunities for MGK.
Wow. And
in some regards, I was able to do it. In some regards, I wasn't, because he wasn't really a corporate compliant.
It's not easy to. I know.
Yeah. He was
amazing talent. Though.
Yeah, no. He was amazing. But he was a true rock star, a true rapper, and brands were a little afraid of his bravado and how he presented himself. But we still did some cool stuff though. We did a lot of great stuff, and that's what I learned about sort of super serving your fans with him and team, and we had it was a great run. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So MGK led to me then meeting YB and Corday and YB and Namir, and my music management career. And when I started Stealth, yeah. And so my whole career I've always been behind the scenes. So even me doing this interview was unique, for me, because I've always been the guy sort of preparing talent for interviews, behind the scenes, working things, doing deals. So being in front of the camera wasn't a thing for me. It was never like something I wanted. I always wanted to be behind the scenes and let the work speak for itself. But now you got to sort of stand in front of the work. So,
and I'm thankful for you doing that, because I know that was a big a reminder for me when I was trying to reach out, because we haven't spoken in a long time. I'm like, man, but B, he don't really move like that.
Right.
But I was like, hey, closed mouth don't get fed.
Right.
And obviously now in the space you're in with Masterpiece and really brand recognition, pushing the brand out there, being more visual with content, it's almost like you were like the nicest player on the team, but you weren't on the court.
Right.
You were just in the back, just chilling, you know what I mean? And now you're like, hold up, watch this. You know what I mean? So I think everything that you have been through, from Sean John to academics to, helping MGK, YBNs, and, even with the Stove Got Cooks thing, like, I see visionary all over this. Like, you have this, like, sixth sense of seeing something that no one else sees and putting that together and having people say, oh, okay,
right,
I see what he was trying to do. But it's so calculated. Like, that's got to be God-given. That's not something that could be taught. I think you have a very intuitive understanding of the marketplace. You went to school, was your degree in marketing?
Marketing and finance, yeah.
Okay, so you're able to understand budgeting. You're able to understand what people want, but you're able to still kind of keep it true to the sense of the ethos of who you are and what the artists and talent are.
Right.
It's a very hard thing to jumble, because it's a seesaw effect. It's like a balancing act. But you do it so gracefully.
Yeah, I consider myself a culture apologist. Was that
culture apologist?
Not apology, a cultural ologist.
Ologist. That's a nice one. I never heard that.
I just made that up just now.
See, there you go.
Good.
You're doing that thing again.
But it's like, I've always been outside, right? I mean, from a kid, you do your chores, you go outside. So I've always been in tune with what's going on outside. And I consider myself, I guess, a tastemaker. And so I always look at things from how I would view it or how I would want to receive it or things that work. So when I see great marketing, I always buy into it. My wife's like, "Oh, you a sucker for good marketing." Yeah, I appreciate it when somebody builds something that's really dope and meaningful. It resonates with me, and so I want to make sure that whatever I work on, I try to create that same feel for someone else. So whether it be an artist, whether it be a clothing brand, we try to find ways to sort of have that brand be authentic to the group that we're speaking to, and so I just love like the 0 to 60 phase in terms of starting something from scratch. I think that comes from not having resources, so having to work something without anything. So you gotta be creative, and you gotta find a way to get it to resonate with people. And grassroots has always been a part of my DNA. Again, I started as an intern doing promotions, which is grassroots marketing. My guy Chuck Bone, who was like my mentor. At the time, he started I guess I would say the first street team in gas station. Yeah. And so we would go outside and find ways to create noise and be at the different events and find ways to give people a reason to pay attention to what we were doing or the song that we're promoting. And I take that same approach in anything that I do. So whether it be a song, the artists themselves,
yep.
A piece of clothing. Like how do we give this an identity that people can relate to, and so we always try to problem solve around that.
No, it's a great formula, because I always say on the podcast, Steve Jobs hit it on the head. He said you got to make a product or something that could connect to someone's heart.
Right.
Like the iPod when that first came out. That was he said it connects to someone's heart.
Right.
Hearing a song that means something to you coming from this device.
Right.
Now you got the person's buy-in. So connecting to people's heartstrings is the true testament of what marketing is. If you're able to hold on to that and amplify it for the consumer, to put it in their face, because we're all dumb. Like, oh, what's this?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, I like this. I like that. Now the phone, everything's touching.
Right.
So it's like, it's a consumer-based market right now, but you come from that grassroots era of like the architects,
right?
Like the people that really had the building blocks.
Yeah, and I learned from a lot of smart people, right? And and watching them and how they approach business, and picking up the good traits, and figuring out how to adapt it for myself and do it my own way. So I never forget who the customer is, no matter what the product is, and try to find ways to continue to speak to the customer in different ways.
It's what you're saying is so true, and it resonates with me because, again, I'm in sales too, and I have to understand that it's a moving market all the time. The levels are always changing, and you got to stay relevant, but also stay relatable. It's such a, it's fun though. Like I thrive in that. I thrive in the unknown.
Right.
Like when something is different or abstract, I'm like, ooh, let me see what goes on. Like even with this podcast, I'll try different stuff.
Right.
Just to, hey, if it doesn't work, who cares? It didn't work.
Right.
We move on to the next one.
Yeah, keep putting up shots.
Yeah, keep throwing up shots. Exactly. Right. And for you, the amount of discipline you have shown me through your career, how hard is that to keep with all the temptation, all the, you know how crazy the music world is.
Right.
Like it's a toxic, crazy environment. For you to be a man of faith and be so disciplined and be, 10 toes down, how hard was that to manage at first when the big boom happened for you, that you went from here to here?
I think it's still having good people around you. Always I never got too full of myself. And always kept someone next to me who would let me know if I was getting too full of myself. And my wife has been my rock. My wife, we've been together since high school.
Nice.
So she's,
God bless.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So she's been someone who's always been in my corner, let me know like, oh, you're bugging out. Oh, this is good. My sister, if I'm doing something crazy, I got friends. The one thing about my friend group, we keep each other sharp. So if you do something whack, they're gonna let you know. If it's something good, they'll let you know. So, but I think it's always having good people around you. Like I've never I always went to the same barbershop. I would always go back to my neighborhood and talk to people, right? And I never wore success, meaning that I'm not into the jewelry. I'm not into I like to keep a good car, but I'm not into all the flashy stuff. So stealth. When I started my management company called the Stealth, that's just that's my way of life. I've always been
stealth.
In the mix. Seen, but keeping it moving, right? Never staying in one spot too long. And that's just how I was raised. Like, again, growing up in New York City, I grew up in downtown Fort Greene, Farragut, but I traveled all over the place. Yeah. I'd be in the Bronx. I'd be in Harlem. I go to Queens. And then when I got exposure, I'd go to D.C. And so I was always moving around. And I think that also helped me to have a better appreciation for people and understanding culture. And so I wound up living culture. Not me. And I don't know if it was intentional. I just think that, I was fortunate enough to be in a lot of great places and learn from a lot of great people. And so that's why I got to give it to God, because God, again, some of the things you can't explain. Like, we'd be here forever if I tell you all the stories of the things that sort of happened, right?
Yeah, and it's bugging me out because. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like in the network I have that I developed, growing up, to the network I developed in school, and how that would play out later on, and see friends of mine that we were in the dorm room playing music, arguing about hip hop, for those same folks to now be players in the industry, right? Yes. So it's like you can't make this up. And so sometimes we get together and laugh on the phone, like, remember we was arguing over who's better, Snoop Dogg and Big, and that now we're actually
working with them.
Working with them, right? And meeting these folks, and so and having real relationships with these folks, right? And then being in a position where we can kind of control, I guess, what the next generation, how we revered Big and Pac and these different folks, for the MGKs and the A$AP Rockies and other guys that they were responsible for. The generation below them would argue about them in that same way, right? So it's interesting to see how your influence on the marketplace, and I think that's something also drove me, just to see like an idea that I have and how can it affect people, right? Those are things that I sort of enjoyed.
It's so ironic that you're saying all this, and all I keep thinking is you took your mother's formula of making something better, but with integrity, and you put it into a system that worked for you, which was fashion, music, the music business. But man, you added your DNA into a lot of moving parts in the business with artists, with and you made it better. Right. You left a positive stain on the game, so to speak. Like, you didn't come and wreck it. Right. You didn't,
because it's easy to get in there and try to get yours. Like, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna rob this thing up, right?
Take the table.
Take the table.
Shout out to Cruz.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with that too. I think there's times that I could have been more aggressive on certain things, and you learn from that. But I always want to be able to sleep well at night. And so no matter what, I think any artist that I work with, any brand that I work with, regardless of any misunderstandings, if they sit back and look at it, they know I move with integrity. Yeah, and always had their best interests. And so what I want to do in this stage of my life is have my own best interests and create something that I own, that I can sort of impact the world with, right? And that's how Masterpiece was kind of born.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because I was enamored seeing the way you rolled it out, and then just seeing the pieces and seeing, like, me looking, reading up on the story and the inspiration behind it. You talked about, being at the in Brooklyn back in the day,
Diker Beach,
yeah. And you were just kind of toying with this notion of golf, right? And it's something that is totally a dichotomy of where we come from. Right. No one does golf if you're from Brooklyn or Newark, or you know what I mean? Right. But the fact that now it is in vogue in the hip hop culture. I mean, look at DJ Khaled, perfect example. Right. The guy plays golf every day. Mark Wahlberg. There's Ja Rule that wears Masterpiece. Right. So it's like all these moving parts. Again, it comes back to your testament of understanding the marketplace, but fusing it with something you're passionate about. Right. How did you get involved in golfing to the level that you're at now, and how did that transfer into Masterpiece? I
think it's the same thing with music. I think it's being naturally in the space, right? So, music, I love music, right? Fashion, I like to get dressed from the time I was young. I don't want to act like I was the freshest, but I was amongst the freshest, right?
You throw that on.
Yeah, I throw it on, and so when golf sort of came in the picture, I started playing golf around the time I started working at Sean John and working in fashion. And it was like a break from other things because, we played basketball. We did, softball. We were always competitive. And when I got introduced to golf, I thought it was an old person's game. My grandfather played golf.
Oh, okay.
Right? Watched him play, but I had no interest. And then I saw someone around my age, one of my mentors at the time, he started a golf tournament. I went to the golf tournament, and it was actually a cool experience. Like, oh wow, like this, like the grass and the scene, and it was cool just being in a totally different environment. And then you realize as you sort of start to discover golf that there's golf courses sort of hidden in plain sight, almost like how America is in terms of wealth. There's wealth right in front of you.
Right in front of you.
But you may not even see it. You may not recognize it. And so so I got the golf bug bit me. I went to Chelsea Piers, couldn't hit a golf ball, and was trying to hit one good shot. And then I was on the quest to try to figure this game out. I had some other friends of mine who were also trying to figure, were golf curious, and we would go out, go up in the morning, go to Dyker Beach. It went from being a small crew of us to developing like almost a golf family. Like there was about 20, 30 of us any given week going to different golf courses, on Fridays, on the weekends. It became something we were doing. We would travel, and there was a brotherhood developed through golf. And I guess I was one of I'm the youngest, one of the younger guys in my crew. So I would wear clothes that weren't necessarily traditional on the golf course. I was wearing my Sean John and my academics
and baggy jeans,
and I wouldn't wear jeans, but I'd wear like shorts that were still it was shorts I could wear on the golf course, but they might have been long shorts at the time or different things that were happening, whatever was trending in streetwear and urban. I was bringing out on the golf course. I was sneakerhead, and then I found like some Nike SBs that were like this was early on. It was like the first collaboration that they did. Like it was like the skateboard division did with golf.
Oh wow!
And it was like a dunk. It was like a beautiful like leather grain dunk that they made into a golf shoe.
Wow!
And then I started like getting into this rabbit hole trying to find different unique golf shoes and trying to find my own sort of fashion identity on the golf course. You fast forward to years later, people also realize that you can't play basketball your whole life. That you got to find other sports. And I started seeing other artists, other executives, other athletes sort of starting to embrace the game. And I saw there was a marketplace, and then I had friends that I knew from streetwear that sort of started to tackle golf.
Right.
And so I knew I wanted to find my way in the space, didn't know what that would be. I helped support my friend who's been doing his tournament for 20 some odd years. And I was like, I want to do a product. I just got to figure out what it is. I wanted to do golf gloves and matching socks and find like a niche, because I always knew like brands could be built off of a niche
product.
But then I realized the space started moving really fast, and I bumped into a friend of mine that I used to work with at academics who wanted to help support what I was doing, and we sort of workshopped some ideas, and the idea behind Masterpiece was sort of created. And I took a risk and decided to spend more money than I anticipated.
It happens, yeah.
I didn't want to do clothes because clothes is expensive, especially if you're doing cut and sew
you're
stuff.
You're doing quality stuff. This is not like you're, like go see somebody that prints up shirts. Like this is quality stuff.
Yeah, we're doing stuff from scratch.
Yeah.
And we wanted to sort of put our sort of our stamp and our expression in golf. And we're just getting started. We're like 6 months in, but it's been well received, the product. And right now we're sort of creating the visual identity, and we're continuing to storytell through Masterpiece, and we'll highlight the product, we'll highlight people, and I'm excited for what's to come from the brand. But it's awesome to see it be received so fast. So we're, I have a partner, Echo, and it appears that like my golf crew is investing in the brand. So It's almost a dream, because I think that's why we sort of came together. The fact that we had all these amazing executives from different realms, fellowshipping on the golf course, and now we have purpose. And so now we're tackling the golf clothing space and other areas within golf, and we're able to take things that I'm able to take things that I've done in music and then fashion and apply it to this brand, and it's mine. You know, it's something that's something that you know. So I'm way more passionate. People's like, yo, Byron, you got the stamina to start something new, and I do. I mean, I think this is I'm in the space that's real for me, and we're culturally connected to a lot of folks who are playing the game, and we're making products that's unique from other brands, and I think that there's definitely a whole there's a culture shift happening in golf, and I think that it seems similar to when like streetwear and urban started. There was like a plethora of brands that were coming in to sort of change sort of an older space, and we're all sort of creating our ideas and kicking down the doors and showing folks that there's more than what we're redefining the code of golf. So we're not trying to disrespect the heritage of the game. We're just adding our own new flavor to what has been sort of stagnant. And there are cultural leaders now who are making their mark, and they're showing me that a business can be created. And so we're coming in and creating our own business and telling our own story our way.
It's powerful to hear that because, you know, going back to your music, right? Back in the day, you would do a song.
Right.
And then you do the remix.
Right.
You're remixing golf your way, your rules.
Right.
You own it. And you're doing it in a way that still speaks close to who you are as a person. Right. It's a beautiful thing. And you're touching culture based on the culture you have already been through with music and back the internships, the music that it's all kind of coming head on now with Masterpiece and how beautiful the name, because it's like hitting the hole in one. Right. It's like me and my boys on the green, chilling, hitting a hole in one. Right. I'm gonna provide you this beautiful aesthetic of what a perfect outfit looks like, what a perfect brand looks like, that it can transcend beyond the golf course into your personal life. Right. That can not infect, that's a bad word, but it can it can also intersect with other lanes in the world that can come together and appreciate what golf is and appreciate Masterpiece. Right. So it's like a beautiful intersection that can kind of go everywhere. Yeah. You know, it's like the octopus.
Right. Masterpiece is your greatest work. It takes people their lifetime to create their masterpiece. And that's what's true for me in terms of this is a moment where I'm able to take things that I've done in music, in fashion, in branding, and pull them all together to create this work. And so this is what Masterpiece sort of represents, the culmination of all those things that I've learned. And people will find their own masterpiece. I think masterpiece can be personal to each individual. I think, it's your work of art. I see people's swings, and their swing is a masterpiece. But it doesn't happen overnight. Like people are putting the time in to sort of perfect their swing, to learn the game, to understand it, study it, and then they produce their greatest work. And so that's what we are doing with this brand is, we're going to consistently deliver quality product. We're infusing functionality, fashion, luxury, and that's what Masterpiece is giving you. We're giving you the best of the best from all different facets.
Wow, man. I'm hearing you say all this, and I just can't stop thinking about how, now I know you're a man. When I met you in 2016, I didn't know you were a man of faith. Yeah. But now I was saved in 2018. So now seeing it with these lens, seeing how you moved, and when I met you, and I was like, man, this guy's just different. He's not like everybody else in this room. But again, I was so naive and unaware. But now that I see it, this was God just working through you, through the steps of what you've been through music and fashion to get you here. Right. And God's timing is always the perfect timing. Absolutely. And you want it to be on your time, but it's when He wants you. So young Byron, goes to Atlanta, soaks in the culture, comes back, does Sean John, does academics, does MGK, does music, becomes management. This was all just prepping you for the bigger purpose.
Yeah, but you gotta listen. That's what I've learned is that, a lot of times we gotta listen. You pray and wait, right? And I wait, but I gotta stay active while I'm waiting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can't stop moving. You
can't stop moving. Yeah. But the way this came together, again, definitely God engineered in terms of me reconnecting with my man who's helping me build this stuff out on the design side to to the people who are sort of showing up and showing love and support, to my friend group, my golf crew who's coming in and believes in what we're doing, because I didn't want to come to them with here's some sketches, here's an idea.
Yeah.
So so me and Echo, we took our own money, put it up, and bet on ourselves. And
wow.
It's great to see people respond to it, to see sales, to see repeat sales, to see people recognize what the vision that we created. And I'm excited for this journey.
No, I'm excited for you, man. Mm-hmm. And again, seeing the plays and 6 months ago to now, just seeing the growth and evolution of Masterpiece. Right. I mean, I'm excited for the next 6 months. I'm excited to see, because I know your brain. And I already know you're 3 steps ahead. Yeah, and I already know those fingers are moving on those texts.
Yeah, we're definitely plotting and planning. Like, listen, our first collaboration came from my wife and I, right? Like, my wife is, I gotta get it right. I may have to edit this part. She is VP of Global Marketing for Tarte. And so her CEO saw what we were doing.
Nice.
A Masterpiece. So she was reposting the pictures, and Maureen was like, "Oh my gosh, this looks great. This is so cool. What is this?" And my wife sort of walked her through what we were building, and she's like, "We just got to collaborate." And so again, it was that wasn't planned. It was something that sort of that came from just following the path. And we did this collaboration, and who would know that this collaboration was the first beauty brand and golf collaboration, period.
Whoa.
And so, it was very well received. We created our own sort of, created our own product as part of the collaboration. We did a scarf and a hoodie, and
is that the Muse?
Yes, the vintage Muse, right?
Fire.
And so we wanted to highlight women who contributed to the game, and it was very well received. We got a lot of amazing user generated content. We sent the gift boxes out, and I'd say like 90% of the people who receive these boxes posted. You never know how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
And even the collaboration with Tarte having 10 million followers, us at the time we might have had 1,200 followers, right? So it didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But she saw the vision, and so what we're doing, and we're growing. We're growing, and so like there's a lot more collaborations in store. The product will continue to evolve, and the storytelling will evolve, but be consistent. And so I'm just excited.
I'm excited for the next chapter, man. And to your point with, having an amazing wife by your side, they are the helpers.
Absolutely.
And her being there for you and seeing something that can be an open alleyway and guiding you to it, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't lose.
No.
God on your side, you can't lose, man. And all the beautiful things you've learned in life to get you to this point. I cannot wait till we sit down again and see where you are with Masterpiece.
Let's go.
It's exciting, brother. Yeah. Before I get you out of here, man, I want to give you some mastermind questions. I ask this to everybody that comes on.
Okay.
Quick answers.
Okay.
If there's a story that resonates, feel free to share.
All right.
What book have you read that inspired you the most?
Think and Grow Rich.
Love that book. Napoleon Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, love that book. Love it, man. And you definitely use those in your life, so I see it. What person in your life has brought you the most influence?
My mother.
Enough said.
Yeah.
I mean, after what you told me, I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, mom, for sure.
What keeps you driven in life?
Family. Family. My daughter, my wife, my nieces, nephews. Knowing that I'm living for a purpose bigger than myself, and living that is what's inspiring.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful answer, man. What was your lightest and darkest moment in life? What was your lowest and your happiest?
Happiest, say the birth of my daughter. That was amazing. Lowest, I say the passing of my father, in terms of how it happened, and the experience leading up to it was tough, because it kind of happened fairly fast.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
So yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I can't even imagine. I mean, my dad's still around, but he's battling some health issues.
Right.
It's been kind of rocky for me the last 3 weeks, so I'm very empathetic to that.
Yeah, I was able to be at peace with him and talk to him, but just the circumstance leading up to it was definitely tough.
Tough.
I
understand, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but as believers, we know where he is today.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever had any vices, and how did you overcome them?
Nah, I can't say I have any vices. Golf is
cigars.
Golf.
Golf. All right.
I created a business with it.
There you go. There you go. That's a great vice to have.
Right.
Now, speaking of golf, right, to my next question, what does the next level of success in your life look like?
Watching my daughter have a family of her own and being able to sort of sit back and, God willing, we have some grandkids. This generation, you don't know. They're not cranking out kids like they used to.
I know.
But being a grandfather, and being able to pour in the information that I had to the next generation and being able to spoil them and let her deal with grandpa spoiling them.
Grandpa keeps spoiling it. Grandpa taking him to the golf course.
Yeah.
Beautiful answer, man. B, last question before I get you out of here, and this stumps everybody, so I'm interested to see what your answer is. What is the last thing that you have purchased that's changed your life?
That's a good question. What's the last thing that I purchased that changed my life?
The record's like a minute that someone took to answer it.
Yeah, what's the last thing I purchased that changed my life? Wow, what's life changing? That's a good question.
It's a deep one, right?
Yeah. My daughter's tuition.
That's a big one.
No. Let me think of what's the last thing a purchase that changed my life.
I tell people my wedding ring.
Right.
Because, when I met my wife, my life changed for the better. You don't have to say that, but that's always mine.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Somebody said a boat.
You know what? I'm gonna go with some golf clubs.
I was thinking golf like gloves. You said clubs, right?
Yeah, golf.
I was
clubs.
thinking golf gloves for some reason. In my
I say
mind.
golf clubs because that was the investment, in the game that I love, which now I took my passion for the game that I love into developing a business around the game that I love. So I think me taking a step and buying clubs is not cheap.
No, it's expensive. It's an expensive hobby.
Golf is an investment.
Yeah,
so I would say buying my golf clubs. Yeah.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Dope. B, man, what a ride, man. I can't thank you enough for coming by and sharing your story and, sharing what you're doing with Masterpiece. I'm excited for what's coming up next for you. I'm thankful that we were able to reconnect again,
this
man.
Was great, man.
Listen, whatever I extend myself, whatever I can do to help Masterpiece, I'm here. I'm an Artist Not a Salesman podcast is here. Whatever you need assistance with, we could collab on anything. My door is always open.
I appreciate you.
But again, thankful and excited for what you have coming next, man. So,
likewise, I can't wait to see your next episodes and continue to see this platform grow, man. So this is awesome.
No, this is, and I'll tell you this last thing before we wrap up, because I believe in giving people their flowers. You never knew this, and I never told you this. When we were back having those cigars at Cruz's house, and I pulled you. You might not remember this, right? Because I was so insignificant at the time, but I was so excited to get Blaze Rebel, the Rebel Clan, out, and everybody telling me about you. And I pulled you to the side, and I forgot what the idea was. It was something about putting the merchandise online and having certain discount codes, and I want to thank you because you actually took the time to listen to my idea and you actually bigged me up. And no one ever did that for me in that space. So thank you for taking the time to acknowledge me, even though I was probably insignificant in the social circle there, but it never ever left me.
Right.
And thank you for that. Because I really appreciate that.
That's love. And I've always learned that no matter what room, you got to speak to everybody. Because the intern today will be the president of something tomorrow. And so I was the guy in the room that nobody paid attention to, right? And, it turned out pretty okay, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think that you got to pour in, you got to pour into people. And so, meeting you and you around good people that I trust, and I knew they had reverence for you.
Right.
So there's no way that I'm going to treat you anything different. I think we live in the people business.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I don't recall that specific moment.
I know.
Right?
It was one of those long nights.
But I'm glad that I was able to have a positive effect on you, because all I want to do is come in and inject some optimism into a room, into a person, into an idea. So it's great to see you continue to grow and flourish and chase your dream. Right? This is an idea that you had, and people, I'm sure, at some point were like, "You doing a podcast? What is that, huh?" And you ignored any negative information. You didn't let that stop you. And look at this podcast, man. It's a beautiful thing. So
thank you, man. It really means a lot coming from you, man. And again, thank you for that night where you made me feel seen, where I felt invisible.
Right.
Thank you.
That's dope.
Absolutely, brother. Man, listen, B, before I get you out of here, please let people know where they can find you, where they can find Masterpiece, what you got coming up next. The floor is yours, man.
All right, cool. Masterpiece Sports Club. On Instagram at Masterpiece Golf, online at masterpiecegolf.com. Check us out. You want to be fresh, you want to be fly, you want to feel comfortable and look good, feel good, and play good.
Yes, sir.
It's only one place to go. And this is a product you can wear on the course, off the course. It's a lifestyle. And we're looking at trying to help everybody just feel better about themselves through fashion, and find your swing, find your voice. Masterpiece is the source.
That's it. Beautiful, man. Hey, you said it better than I could, man. Right. With that, guys, it's a wrap. Byron, thank you again for making time. Appreciate you, brother. Till next time. Guys, that's a wrap on this episode of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast. If this podcast inspired or moved you in any way, please subscribe to my Apple, Spotify, and YouTube platforms by typing in I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman on all platforms. I pray you have a blessed one, not a stressed one. Peace.
I need you by my side.